Hi there, this is Dr. Coates. I just wanted to say a few quick words about the course and the overall trajectory of the next 8 weeks. This is Univ 200. It's a required course. It's not a course that is hoping to teach you how to write in a pretty way. It's a course that's hoping that you will be able to organize the excellent thoughts that you already have more effectively, and to talk a little bit about logic and rhetoric, and how to persuade people, even those that don't want to be persuaded. Um, to me, it doesn't do me any good to have any of you fail. I will do anything that I can within reason to make it so that all of you can succeed. And I just want to put a plug in for trying to stay caught up um, with all of the things on the schedules, the unit schedules. The course is designed so that there are significant buffers in there. The unit to research, as long as you can find sources, read them, take notes on them, and then start to synthesize them on time. That's designed to be a nice bit of padding for the grade. Um, there are other aspects too, participation. If you can keep up with some of the online activities that I've got, then that really does help. It's 20%. So those are the things that I would suggest if you're worried at all. I'm trying to make myself as available as possible on email. I could also, in a pinch, do a phone call or a Skype or something like that, whatever you prefer. I have an Android phone. That's actually what I'm recording with right now. So I probably should not do FaceTime, although I have an iPad. Anyway, I could probably figure it out. Anyway, in terms of the overall trajectory of the semester, we're starting with a Unit 1 paper, which is nearly exclusively a critical analysis of something that you find on the internet and you find it to be interesting. Social media may seem frivolous, but because human beings engage on it and human beings are inherently interesting, social media therefore can be interesting too. So what this means is that the theme is not trying to limit you, but trying to find artful ways of bringing the things that you're more interested in into conversation with everyone else in the class by making it be about social media. So the ways that I define Web 2.0 are that it has a curation aspect, it has a sharing aspect, and it gives you the ability to add feedback. Okay, so that could be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblrs. Uh, let's see, with YouTube. YouTube is probably the best one, but Netflix is also an example of something, because you can rate movies and then it'll change the algorithm in terms of what it suggests for you. So what you need to do is to find something that is emblematic of your larger concern for the semester, and then to have that be your data set, your bounded area of evidence that you're going to look at for this particular project. Okay, if all goes well, what you'll be able to do is to stay really close to your evidence and create a thesis out of this that explains why this thing is interesting and what we can learn from it about ourselves and about the ways that we interact on social media. So that's the goal for the Unit 1 paper. You're going to be sticking pretty close to probably one example, possibly two. The reason why I'm limiting you from going to outside arguments is because I want you to have some experience looking at primary data for yourselves, doing independent analysis, instead of learning what the bigwigs say you should think about about things like the stuff online that you're finding, which probably nobody has talked about yet, especially if it's really new. It takes about 6 months to get something through the academy. Um, so even if it is going to be written about at all. So, you stick close to your evidence. You find what it is that you can say. You try to see the entire board. It's not just necessarily a YouTube video, but maybe the YouTube video plus the statistics, plus maybe the comments, maybe not, plus maybe the suggestions on the right side of the screen. Again, maybe not. It could be sound, it could be visuals, anything that's there that you can see and point to and ideally link to is fair game. And the more you can stick to that evidence rather than just like talking breezily about a larger topic, the better off you'll be. The reason I say breezily is because in order to go from something really small, like what I want you to be looking at for the primary text for Unit 1, to something larger, you'll need to have research behind your back. It's the way that you can sound authoritative, find evidence which is representative of other evidence that's out there, right? You need to do research in order to have that be true. But I wanted you to have this brief shining moment of independent analysis before you start reading all of those secondary sources that will tell you what to think, and which mostly disagree with each other. So you have a lot of work to do sussing all of that out. Okay? But if all goes well, you'll be able to recycle a lot of what you say in the Unit 1 paper into the larger paper. Maybe it'll be one of several examples. Maybe it'll be like one video within a channel that you're more interested in on YouTube. Maybe it's a few instances on Twitter of a set of dynamics that you would like to talk about. Maybe it's an example of using something in an educational setting that you wanted to write an education paper about. There are a number of ways that every single one of your Unit 1 papers will be able to go, which will yield a different research trajectory and big paper at the end. And part of what's interesting about this class to me is watching all of these things bear fruit and mature. Having said that, the more you think about the next 8 weeks rather than just the task that's at hand, the harder it can be. When I'm stressed out, I like to try to focus on really small things rather than try to think about it in toto. So yes, have a topic in mind. Understand that this Unit 1 paper will be inextricably tied to the research process and to the research argument paper that comes at the end of this semester. It's not just a one-off that you never have to talk about again. It should be related in some significant way to the rest of your concerns for this semester. So the course is designed to have you build upon your independent analysis. And maybe, you don't have to change your mind, but you can always come back and say some of the same things that you said in the Unit 1 paper, but you'll say it differently because you'll have research behind your back at that point. So that's not a bad thing. That's kind of a feature of the class rather than a bug. All right, thank you. That's Unit 1.